And a Fox News alert with an American buildup in the Middle East amid rising tensions with Iran. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier strike group has entered CENTCOM waters in the Indian Ocean, and the Islamic Republic is responding with threats. It says its Revolutionary Guard is more ready than ever, finger on the trigger to execute the orders and directives of the commander-in-chief. So General Jack Keane joins us now. Michael Waltz is the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and this is what he said about the president's next steps.
This is a state-sponsored massacre. The UN's own figures are saying now up to 18,000, although it looks like it may be far, far worse. President Trump is going to take measured steps in the sense of making sure our bases are protected, and we're putting assets in the region for him to be able to make the absolute right decision.
How should we be thinking about this activity towards the Indian Ocean and Iran?
Well, first of all, I mean, this appears to be a bloodbath that compares to nothing else in terms of the horror that this regime has inflicted on its own people for 45 plus years. These numbers are absolutely staggering. And just dealing anecdotally with people on the street, that now that the internet is beginning to open up, they keep telling me that the people that are guarding them now and forcing them not to come out of their homes, most of them speak Arabic, not Farsi. So they have brought in militias from other countries to help them do this dirty deed. Listen, I think where we are with this, Dana and Bill, is this massacre for sure exceeds anything, as I indicated. And the president said he was going to help, and I believe he's going to do just that. Two things are really at stake here. The regime is the weakest it's ever been in its history, politically, economically, and militarily. And I do believe an appropriate strike, obviously to avenge what has taken place here. Also, the president gave his word. I think he'll fulfill it. But what the intent of it has to be is to further weaken the regime and put it on a pathway to its collapse. If we did nothing, then we're going to send a lifeline to the regime, and it'll help extend the regime. If we try to negotiate with them, that'll do much the same. It legitimizes the regime, and it's a gut punch to the protesters involved here. We have to see the opportunity that's in front of us. A military strike by itself would probably not cause an immediate collapse of the regime, but it will certainly put them on the pathway to it, because, as I indicated before, they've never been so weak. And yes, Iran has the means to retaliate, but they don't want to go to war with the United States. That guarantees them the loss of the regime, despite the bluster of their comments that they're making.
Okay, so that's Iran. Now let's go to Russia, Ukraine. And President Zelensky has said that he is ready to sign a U.S. security guarantee. He says it's 100% a sure thing. Watch here.
Bilateral security guarantees with the United States of America. The document is 100% ready. We are waiting for our partners to be ready to set a date for signing it. After that, the document will go for ratification to the U.S. Congress and to the Ukrainian Parliament in accordance with our agreements.
So what do we need to know about where this takes us?
Well, I think that's a lot of progress that has been made to get to the point where everyone, in terms of President Zelensky, the United States, and the Europeans, all agree on these security guarantees, which will have, obviously, forces on the ground, capability in the air, and capability at sea, all with the purpose of making certain that if there is a peace agreement, Russia is deterred from violating that agreement like they have violated every other agreement under Putin's dictatorship. Because that we know where he is on that. He will try to take advantage of it. And it has to be enduring beyond the president. That is why it should go to the Congress of the United States and also the parliaments of the European nations who are providing the forces, the so-called coalition of the willing. This is a big step in the right direction, but let's be frank about this. It's unlikely that Russia will go along with this, as they're already saying they disagree with the land deal that's on the table is the one issue they believe is still unresolved. And Russia, to date, despite rhetoric that we hear from them, in terms of tangible concessions, They have not made one tangible concession yet. That's a fact. They may be having an emissary talk about concessions, but Putin actually making the concession hasn't happened yet. It remains to be seen if they're going to do anything dealing with the security guarantees and certainly the land issue that's yet to be unresolved.
A helpful reminder as we follow this issue and get the weeks going on a Monday with General Jack Keane. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a great week.
Important stuff there.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.